Hi, living in Boulder vlog video. Turn comments is back on. Ze will. I think I'm kind of high. I smoked some weed before. I'm having like an asthma attack too. I got my lights on my chest and my back and my head. So I was listening to these videos all day yesterday. I just grimaced because, man, see, like I'm getting like, you know, me just hanging out, living here, like laying in bed all day long. I kind of makes like I guess my body melt away a little bit enough to, I guess, where old injury come back. And I had a really bad sprain in my left ankle, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And like I only walk once a day in the store to get my energy drink. And so when I walk, I try to walk because I always pay attention to my my ankle because it's like coming. I can feel it. I'm getting shin splints. So I'm trying to walk right, and I get shin splints. You know, if I try to walk correctly, and then it becomes hard and like really painful in my you know, the muscle on my shin. So anyway, that's why I grimaced. I smoke a lot of weed, so my mind wanders. Anyways, so I was listening to quantum mechanics videos over and over again, not really, and other like science quantum mechanics videos, but not really learning stuff. I think I'm too high, but also paying attention to this too much. So yesterday when I ended was, because the project that I'm working on right now is I'm tracing all of the roads around here, roads and paths for bicycling and running, hiking. With the polygon tool because it looks so much better, you know, from afar out, and then when you get close, it looks really cool. At, you know, trails that are in the trees that you can barely see now. So I'm doing that for everything, and then I can color code it, you know, for them to mean different things. I'm gonna have everything with both the polygon and also the line, so I know the information. But so yesterday I was tracing like stuff in the mountains, and then I was curious if I had done like steep routes up like couloirs on the mountains. So I wanted to look in the one where I already did it because I went and I collected all of them, like 156. And then last night I decided to go ahead and polygon those. And so I got like 15 in. And that's where I was when I woke up this morning. Well, I kind of had really intermittent sleep. It was one of those like cat naps. Like instead of sleeping once for 8 hours, I slept twice for 4. Because I got up like early, but then I slept in the middle of the day. Because I was working and I just couldn't keep my eyes open. So then I just laid on my belly and I slept. It was awesome. So, so I got up, I don't know, afternoonish. I think I was going to go to my mom's house to find papers. But she woke me up with a text saying she found them. So I didn't have to go over there. I did go to the store tonight at like 10 to get an energy drink. And I think I bought a salad. Did I eat it? I think I already ate it. And an apple, or is this 2 apples? Yeah. Oh, and some soup, tomato soup. So that's what I had to eat today. I had like an apple or 2, a bowl of tomato soup, and like 2 protein drinks or something. Yeah. I'm not eating much, which is really groovy because you don't spend money when you're not eating. So, yeah, you know, lots of times I don't eat until I'm hungry, so that's good. Because I'm too busy working. So, got to work in, and I finished all 156. Boom, because I was wondering if I could finish all, if it was a one-dayer, because I had all the numbers, and yeah, I finished them all. It was quicker than the other ones because it was just straight up, you didn't have to be as perfect, and I was sloppier. Zoom through them, and got back on, my trails, and started finishing ones that I didn't finish, and now I'm working on some area that's like got trails everywhere. I don't know if they're mining roads, I mean, I got self eventually polygon all the mining roads that ever existed. I mean, you make a road 150 years ago, and 150 years later, you can see that sucker from space. It's great to build it on Google Earth because it can help people learn how long human damage lasts in forests. Keeping track of what's going on with the forests, if it's a mainstream thing, would be a wonderful thing for the mainstream to do. Not just those, but as the glaciers melt. We have all the glaciers. We have like 15 out of 20 glaciers of the lower 48 right here in the Front Range. And they're going to melt, it's the climate change. Well, the number one barometer, if you have like a little barometer, meter lever of climate change, is looking at the glaciers right outside of Boulder. And once the last one goes away, well, there you go. You see my website, I have a time lapse. It was actually from a video that I watched, I think just today. It was by the University of Colorado, and I did screen captures of them, of these. Somebody did a time lapse of the glaciers melting in the, I think it's the Mosquito Range, and right there at Lake Dillon and Silverton, looking west, and it's fascinating to see. Yeah, you can go to my timeline and click on them, how it's aligned with the time, to visualize how it goes. I asked them for permission to put them on there, and then the next day, Flickr emailed me and said I had to immediately delete photos that weren't mine, or else my videos are gonna get deleted or something. I'm like, but those people never answered me back, and that's for CU. But anyway, it's cool. I had a really interesting insight. Because I look on Google Earth a lot. I'm like a Google Earth master. Let's turn my lights back on. We'll go to setting B now. That's the relaxing one. You see lots of stuff that was, walls that were built 2,000 years ago, like the siege of, what's that called? Siege of Hamath, Jedediah, oh man, I don't remember. On the hill in Israel, the Israels had their little town, their little walled city on the top of the steep cliffs, and then and this was in the Josephinian Wars, or Josephine wrote about them. They're in the Jewish Wars, where they took the Jews to go and build the Colosseum in 50 AD. And the Romans built a Roman camp, and you can still see the outline of it. I'm actually built it in my mountains here in Colorado, Front Range. And, you build the aqueducts, it's still here now. Who knows how long ago the Nazca lands were built. And so, you can kind of, when you look at something, but if you know something how long ago, it's fascinating, because we have all these artifacts from mining days in the 1880s here in Boulder. Right here in my apartment complex, there's this cart, a trailer, a wagon with the wooden wagon with the metal around it. And I'm thinking, was that thing parked there, just parked one day, and they never moved it? And then was that where a road was, or somebody's front yard? But yeah, I mean, that's an original. And so you look at it and you see how the wood is all dried out and cracked. And that's what wood does, and you know exactly how long it takes to do exactly what to wood, because you're seeing it there. And in the old mills, I remember growing up mountain biking up in the mountains, and you ride by or biking on the Peak to Peak Highway, and you look at a mill. I don't know if they're there anymore, but and you'd see all these mills from the 1880s, and they're still there. The wood, only the roof is caved in, and so the wood is black and dark brown, you can actually see exactly what weathering does, and so it's kind of like, and then you get in the mind of the artifact, and you can actually see time moving, like experiencing the time moving, and kind of experience time that way. But and so that's a fun little mind game to play. But the interesting insight I had the other day is that you can also do the same thing with the little divots that the glaciers make. Because I'm looking at the mountains, and I see where the glaciers are now, and I know that how the glaciers looked in the past because you see the time lapse. So in the past 20,000 years ago, in the ice ages, it was almost the glaciers were almost all the way to the tops of the mountains. And they would, like in the mosquito range there, if that's the range, I can't remember, but Lake Dillon, the mountains would go down. I mean, the glacier went down all the way and covered the entire town of Silverton with like 500 feet or 1,000 feet of ice or something. It was just the whole valley was covered in ice. And so I mean, somebody should do one, or maybe I should do one of the front range, because you could pretty easily with the polygon. It looked pretty much as good as that one they did with their fancy little, video program or whatever. But the glacier, the ice probably went all the way down to Boulder. Well, actually, no, because the elevation's lower. Glacier probably went at least halfway down to Boulder. That'd be a good question. I wonder. But anyway, as the glacier melted, I was looking at these valleys of these 12,000 high feet in the mountains, and you can see the ripples and the little divots and the little scoops that the little round basins that the glaciers made as they were sliding down and carving out. But the cool thing is, exactly when those were made, because exactly when the glacier melted. And so, all you have to do is just picture, like, if it was you, like, with your construction buddies, and you go and excavate a thing that looks, a trench that looks just like what that glacier made. And then exactly what it would look like when those melted, maybe when it melted on those ones that I'm looking at 12,000, maybe like 5,000 years ago or something. I can't remember what it looks like on my timeline, but so it takes 5,000 years for it to look, and it's still there. So like these scars we make in the mountains. I mean, you're not talking about like these roads, old roads for mining roads, the bigger ones. I don't know about the roads, but maybe you're not talking an order of like 100 years for them to go away, but more like 1,000 or more. Yeah, it's anyways, that was interesting. But so I got back to tracing the roads in the mountains, which is really time consuming, because I did some, the thing that I was working on after when I did the climbing routes to the top were the small trails over to the lakes up high, and not over any passes, but through the trees, like on the Grand County side. And so it was super difficult, And then I stayed actually on around the sourdough area, probably in like mining roads that are closed. I don't know, but I was just tracing them because, and I'll go later and see if you can ride on them, run on them. But because the other day I traced them with a line, just from what I saw, and then I was gonna go back and do it with the polygon. So I was doing it with the polygon before I did this video. So that's what I was doing. That's actually right now the most interesting. For like a day or two, I was doing the bike paths, and I think I'm done of Denver and the Front Range, which is interesting for the time, but it's really interesting to the mountains here. Yeah, it's a whole world up there. So I am going to keep tracing. I'm not ready to go to sleep. Yeah, so I'm happy I got done with those in like a half day's worth of time. The other one's the other file that I segued to for a while. The routes, and then ski. For some reason, I put the climbing routes at Coolars and then ski, because I did ski trails, like good ski runs. I got it off of another site. I can't remember which one. I should have jotted it down, but I'm going to Yeah, I'll continue on these lines, on these roads, in the mountains, in the trees, the hard ones. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was doing. I was doing the lines because I traced the lines, and so I was just wanted to trace over where the lines were because I figured that was easy, and then I can delete the lines, and then go back to organizing, and then go back into trace. So that's what I was doing. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go back to listening to these quantum dynamics. Maybe I should do a video about what I think is about going on in the world, in America right now, because there's crazy stuff going on in America, like with the Republican Party. But I don't know, I'd have to be sober for that, more sober for that. But yeah, I could go on, listen on. But it's interesting to listen to the science stuff. But then I go back to the news because it's kind of fascinating what's going on now. Anyways, enough babbling. Talk to you tomorrow.